Dust swirls across the cracked earth of Redstone Valley as Jake Colton rides into town, his hat low, spurs jingling. The sun burns high, casting shadows on the weathered saloon. Townsfolk peer from windows, wary of the stranger. Jake's eyes, sharp as a hawk's, scan the street. He's heard of the Blackthorn gang, outlaws terrorizing these parts. His hand rests on his revolver, ready for trouble. Inside the saloon, Jake pushes through creaky doors. The room falls silent, card games pause, glasses freeze mid-sip. He orders whiskey, voice low but firm. A drunk miner stumbles forward, mouthing off about Jake's dusty coat. Jake's calm stare shuts him up. The barkeep, a grizzled man named Amos, slides a glass over, whispering about Blackthorn's latest raid. Jake listens, planning his next move. At the edge of town, the Blackthorn gang gathers in a hidden canyon. Their leader, Silas Blackthorn, a scar-faced brute, counts stolen gold. His men, rough and rowdy, laugh over their haul. Silas snarls, demanding more loot. He's heard of a new drifter in town, Jake Colton. Silas spits, vowing to crush anyone who dares challenge him. His gang mounts up, ready to strike at dawn. Jake beds down in a rickety boarding house, his dreams haunted by gunfire and screams. Years ago, outlaws took his family, now, vengeance drives him. He wakes to a rooster's crow, checking his Colt revolver. The town's quiet, too quiet. He steps onto the porch, spotting hoofprints in the dirt. Blackthorn's men are close. Jake straps on his gun belt, knowing a fight's coming. Morning light bathes the town as Jake meets Clara, the schoolteacher, fetching water. Her eyes hold fear but also fire. She warns him about Blackthorn's grip on Redstone. Jake nods, sensing her courage. She mentions a kidnapped boy, her brother, held by the gang. Jake promises to help, his jaw set. Clara's hope flickers, but she knows the cost of defying outlaws in this lawless land. In the saloon, Jake gathers intel from Amos. The barkeep sketches a map to Blackthorn's hideout, a maze of canyons. Jake studies it, memorizing every twist. Amos warns of traps and sentries. Jake tips his hat, leaving coins on the bar. Outside, he saddles his horse, a sturdy bay named Rusty. The town watches, some praying, others betting he'll die. Jake rides out, dust trailing behind him. The canyon trail is treacherous, rocks loose under Rusty's hooves. Jake's senses sharpen, a snapped twig signals danger. He dismounts, revolver drawn. A Blackthorn scout lurks behind a boulder. Jake's quick draw fells the man before he can shout. The body slumps, blood pooling in the dirt. Jake moves on, silent as a shadow, knowing more of Blackthorn's men wait ahead. At the hideout, Silas interrogates Clara's brother, Tim, a scared boy tied to a post. Silas demands to know about the town's gold stash. Tim stays silent, trembling. A gang member raises a whip, but Silas stops him, wanting the boy alive, for now. Outside, Jake watches from a ridge, counting guards. His plan forms: sneak in, free Tim, and face Silas. The odds are grim, but Jake's undaunted. Night falls, stars bright over the canyon. Jake creeps toward the camp, avoiding patrols. A guard lights a cigarette, unaware of Jake's blade at his throat. The man crumples silently. Jake cuts Tim's ropes, whispering to stay quiet. The boy's eyes widen, trusting the stranger. They slip toward the horses, but a twig snaps. A shout rings out, Jake's been spotted. Gunfire erupts in the dark. Jake dives behind a crate, bullets splintering wood. He returns fire, dropping 2 outlaws. Tim cowers, clutching Jake's coat. Jake reloads, his hands steady despite the chaos. Silas roars from the camp, rallying his men. Jake grabs Tim, sprinting for cover. A bullet grazes his arm, blood soaking his sleeve. He grits his teeth, pushing forward. The boy's safety is all that matters now. In the confusion, Jake and Tim reach the horses. Jake boosts the boy onto Rusty, slapping the horse's flank to send them galloping. He covers their escape, firing at pursuing outlaws. Silas emerges, his eyes blazing with rage. Jake stands his ground, revolver smoking. The gang hesitates, unnerved by his calm. Silas laughs, promising a slow death. Jake smirks, ready for the showdown. Dawn breaks as Jake faces Silas in the canyon's heart. The gang circles, guns drawn, but Silas waves them back. This is personal. Jake's stare is ice cold, his hand hovering over his holster. Silas taunts, recounting his crimes. Jake's silent, memories of his family fueling his resolve. The wind howls, a tumbleweed rolls by. In a flash, both men draw. Jake's shot rings true, and Silas falls, dead. The gang scatters, leaderless and spooked. Jake, wounded but standing, watches them flee. Tim rides back, safe on Rusty. The boy hugs Jake, tears of relief in his eyes. Jake ruffles his hair, hiding his pain. They ride back to Redstone, the town stirring with hope. Clara runs to them, embracing Tim. She thanks Jake, her voice breaking. He nods, tipping his hat, already thinking of leaving. In the saloon, townsfolk cheer Jake as a hero. Amos pours free whiskey, but Jake's quiet, his mission done. Clara finds him, offering a home in Redstone. Jake smiles but shakes his head. His past keeps him moving, a lone drifter. He hands her the map to Blackthorn's gold, telling her to rebuild the town. She nods, understanding his restless heart. Jake mounts Rusty, ready to ride out. The sun sets as Jake leaves Redstone, hoofbeats echoing in the dusk. Townsfolk watch, some waving, others whispering his name. He doesn't look back, the open trail calling. Behind him, Clara and Tim stand together, stronger for his help. The valley grows quiet, free of Blackthorn's shadow. Jake's silhouette fades against the horizon, a lone cowboy chasing peace he'll never find. Miles away, Jake camps by a dry creek, stars above his only company. He checks his wound, bandaging it with a torn shirt. Rusty grazes nearby, loyal as ever. Jake pulls out a locket, his family's faces etched inside. His fingers trace their smiles, a rare softness in his eyes. He whispers a promise to keep fighting for justice, no matter the cost. The fire crackles, warming the cold night. Morning brings a new trail, winding through sagebrush and mesas. Jake rides steady, his hat shielding his eyes. A distant rider appears, raising dust. Jake's hand drifts to his gun, instinct sharp. The rider's a courier, carrying news of another town plagued by outlaws. Jake takes the letter, reading it slowly. His jaw tightens, he knows his work's never done. He spurs Rusty onward. The new town, Dust Creek, is a ghost of its former self. Boarded shops and fearful faces greet Jake. He ties Rusty at the saloon, stepping inside. The air's thick with tension. A local, Sarah, tells him of the ironclad gang, worse than Blackthorn. Jake listens, sipping coffee. Her eyes plead for help. He nods, already mapping the gang's hideout in his mind. Trouble's found him again. Jake scouts Dust Creek's outskirts, spotting gang tracks. His boots crunch on gravel as he follows them to a derelict mine. He hears laughter inside, outlaws counting loot. Jake slips closer, revolver ready. A guard steps out, yawning. Jake's fist sends him sprawling, out cold. He drags the man behind rocks, tying him up. The mine's entrance looms, dark and dangerous. Jake steps in. Inside, the mine's a maze of tunnels, lit by flickering torches. Jake moves silently, avoiding creaky boards. He overhears the ironclad leader, Vance, plotting to burn Dust Creek. Jake's blood boils, Vance's. Cruelty mirrors the men who killed his family. He finds a dynamite stash, an idea sparking. If he can't outgun them, he'll outsmart them. He pockets a fuse, creeping deeper. Vance, a hulking man with a cruel grin, senses something's off. He sends men to check the tunnels. Jake hides in a shadowed alcove, holding his breath. A guard passes, inches away. Jake's knife flashes, silencing the man. He drags the body aside, heart pounding. The dynamite's his key, but time's short. Vance's voice echoes, ordering a raid at midnight. Jake knows he must act fast. Jake rigs the dynamite at the mine's weak points, fuses ready. He lures the gang deeper, firing a shot that echoes. They chase, cursing, as Jake slips through side tunnels. He lights the fuses, sprinting for the exit. The ground shakes as explosions collapse the mine, trapping most of the gang. Vance escapes, wounded but alive. Jake emerges, coughing dust, knowing the fight's not over yet. Back in Dust Creek, Jake warns Sarah of Vance's survival. She rallies the townsfolk, handing out rifles. Jake admires her grit, seeing Clara's strength in her. They fortify the town, barricading streets. Jake teaches them to shoot, his voice calm but firm. Night falls, and Vance's remaining men ride in, torches blazing. Jake stands at the town's edge, ready to protect these people at all costs. The battle erupts, gunfire lighting the night. Jake picks off outlaws from a rooftop, his aim deadly. Sarah fights beside him, her rifle steady. Vance charges through, swinging a machete. Jake leaps down, tackling him. They wrestle in the dirt, fists flying. Vance's strength is brutal, but Jake's resolve is iron. He lands a final blow, knocking Vance out. The gang flees, their leader down. Dawn reveals a battered but victorious Dust Creek. Vance is tied up, awaiting the sheriff. Sarah thanks Jake, her eyes warm. He brushes it off, saying it's just his way. The townsfolk offer him a place to stay, but Jake's already saddling Rusty. He tips his hat to Sarah, promising to pass through someday. She smiles, knowing he won't. Jake rides off, the horizon his only home. Weeks later, Jake's trail leads to a high desert plateau. He's leaner now, his wound healed but scarred. Rusty plods along, loyal through every mile. Jake spots a wanted poster flapping in the wind, his own face, marked as an outlaw. He tears it down, chuckling grimly. The law's crooked in these parts, but he'll keep fighting. His family's memory demands it, and he's not done yet. A small trading post looms ahead, buzzing with trappers and drifters. Jake enters, buying supplies. A bounty hunter eyes him, hand twitching near his gun. Jake meets his gaze, unflinching. The man backs off, sensing death in Jake's stare. Outside, Jake mounts Rusty, feeling eyes on his back. He knows trouble's brewing, but he's ready. The trail's never safe for a man like him. Night falls, and Jake camps under a lone pine. He cleans his revolver, every click a ritual. The stars remind him of nights with his family, long gone. A wolf howls, and Jake's hand tightens on his gun. He's not afraid, just prepared. The fire dies low, and he sleeps lightly, dreams filled with gunfire. Morning will bring a new fight, a new town, a new chance to right wrongs. The trail stretches on, endless and unforgiving. Jake rides through a storm, rain soaking his hat. Lightning reveals a distant town, its lights faint but welcoming. He spurs Rusty forward, drawn to the next battle. Outlaws, corrupt sheriffs, or desperate folk, someone needs him. His past fuels his purpose, a fire that never fades. Jake Colton, the drifter, rides on, forever chasing justice. As the storm clears, Jake reaches the town's edge. A sign reads, "Hope's End." He smirks, fitting for a man like him. The streets are quiet, but danger hums in the air. Jake dismounts, tying Rusty to a post. His boots thud on the boardwalk, revolver at his side. Whatever lies ahead, he'll face it head on. The West is wild, but Jake Colton's wilder, a lone cowboy bound to no one but his code.